Hi, I'm Valerie. I'm a third year veterinary student at Western University of Health Science. My interest right now is in small animal medicine with rehabilitation and physical therapy, along with also becoming a practice owner at some point. One of the things that really made me want to become a vet has always been thanks to one of my professors one of my teachers at high school. She really had a passion for science, and so being able to see that and be passionate about something has always motivated me to do something of that sort. And so when I had an opportunity to be part of a rescue program at my high school, I just really wanted to take the go, and I fell in love with it, and I kind of feel the same passion that she felt with teaching. So naturally, I am more of an outdoor person. I always had to go outside. And so the biggest change during the quarantine period has been adapting to being at home. A lot of things have changed in terms of adapting to an online setting. And so I've had to kind of sit myself down and really just start transferring all of the information that I've had from classes and put them into a concrete set of schedule on like a Google Docs or something like that. That way I could really figure out more or less what is my schedule. Because otherwise, if I didn't have that, then I'd be going crazy. I don't think I would even know what day it is. At first, it was pretty hard. It was just more like just not being able to see the people that I would see day to day. That was pretty challenging. And also during the first couple weeks of the quarantine period, I decided that I wanted to go home and see my family. And I think that anybody could relate to being in a quarantine period or being in a period of isolation. You feel like you don't have that connection with people. And so it felt like if I was going to be in isolation, there was just a bit of fear that came in with not being able to be with family and close friends. And so I definitely decided to take that period to just regroup myself and realize that I'm not alone in this situation, and then I also have my family that I want to be with. And so in that sense, I've kind of been able to recuperate and come back from that. I think it's just I've been focusing a little bit more in setting my goals and intentions for myself in the next couple of years. I've always had these crazy ideas in my head, and I always have motivation to want to do these things. And now that I have kind of a period of just being able to set myself back, especially when you're a veterinary student or anybody in that matter, everything is just like a go, 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 go mentality. And so now that you're in the quarantine period, you kind of have to think about sitting yourself and staying still for a second. I've been getting a lot of buzz, if you will, with just getting in part of my online pages, my personal page, as well as my side page that I've been doing just to kind of motivate people in the Latinx community and the veterinary medicine. So that's been something that I'm very proud that it's starting to kick off, and it's really people are really getting a positive reaction towards it. So first, I spent a lot of time binge watching a lot of shows, and then online they have the whole Tiger King documentary series that there was going on. So I kind of was watching that. Then it got to a point by maybe day 5-ish where I was just feeling very sluggish. So I started to be a little bit more conscious towards my body, if that makes sense, and then just kind of start. Not necessarily, I wouldn't say I was working out, but I've had tried to make sure that I'm moving around and getting stuff getting to be a little bit more active than my usual self, which is something a little bit different in that sense, because I'm so used to not having to worry about that. But now being in quarantine, that's something that I have put a conscious effort into doing. My parents definitely have helped me keep me sane, brought me back into just reality and just keeping myself having conversations with people and real life interactions. That's the biggest thing for me. But the other thing is I also work, so being able to have part of that as incorporated into my daily routine has definitely helped me out, even though it's kind of sensitive timing. We do try to be very cautious with the whole quarantine and the COVID situation. And so, but having those people around me and hearing their day-to-day, what their shift stories through text messages or something like that, that's definitely made me feel a little bit more like I have a part of my old pre-quarantine life back. And then also just like in general, having friends and your classmates, I think those are very essential to have. Uh, be able to kind of incorporate Zoom meetings. That's something that I never imagined having to do with my friends, but it's so much fun when you actually get to do a schedule a session, and you get to put cute little titles on your Zoom meetings, and really get to talk about their experiences, because even though we're in the same class right now, we're all each doing different things. So being able to hear what their version of online learning is right now, it's definitely different from my version, but it's nice to hear them and their struggles, and it makes you feel like you're connected in a way. It's hard to do a quarantine period, and it's harder to do it when you're miles and miles away from family. And a lot of veterinary students, they're in that position right now. They can't just easily go, they might be from a different state and they can't just easily go back home, whether it's because they have older family members or they just don't have the means to get there. And so to be able to have that online presence, and to be able to establish a stronger community and just say, hey, I got your back during this period of time, I think that's really important. And I really hope that continues going throughout. I've seen so many, and even with the veterinary community, they also strive to do like a One Health approach, and really make an effort to educate about COVID, educate about the efforts that not only veterinary staff is doing, but also like nurses and human healthcare is doing. So I just hope that we continue to make that community stronger, and overall just make it, remind ourselves that we're our family, whether we know each other in real life or not. I will never take for granted a hike ever again in my life. I cannot tell you how much I miss hiking. I miss going on trails, just being able to see, just what Earth has to offer. I really, really miss that, and I can't wait to do that again. It was something I was starting before the quarantine period, and I was really excited to keep going on. And now that we're in quarantine, I just cannot wait to be able to have the opportunity to just go back and just walk a freaking hill or something like that. Just remember that, to reach out to those people that that may be having a harder time with the quarantine period. If you just make sure that your friends and then also your classmates are in check. That means a lot. Making an effort to reach out to your friends in the community that you have nearby. I think that's something that's really important, because you're in a period where you don't get to see a lot of people that often, and so making sure that they're okay, whether they say they are. Taking the time to schedule a Zoom meeting, I think that would be very helpful for everybody. So embarrassing, but I cannot. I cannot live without my phone. I have to have my phone. I think this quarantine period taught me that I'm very reliant on my phone. The artist Mabel, she came out with a song called Boyfriend, which it's a very empowering song. Like, it's just like, you're the hot shot, you could do this, you could do all of that. So I'm like, that song has been on repeat nonstop. When it's the quarantine and they say that you're an essential worker, like, I feel like that's like the biggest, like, yes, toast to us, because we are definitely out there doing, like, struggling right there. I am a dog person, 100%. I am so sorry to the cat community, but I love dogs so much. I've always grew up with loving Ariel, but over the past couple of years, Belle, she's been the homie, She really shines through. It has to be at night. I love the nighttime. There's something about the nighttime. I've tried so many times to be a morning person and be, like, very productive, but it just never works out. Nighttime, I think it just has to be, like, quiet and tranquility. Like, those things, like, motivate me to get things done. So everybody can find me on Instagram. My personal account is Balanceology, and then I also have my Latinx Vet Gang page. That's also just showing up some inspiration and just educating people on Spanish medical terminology.